Welcome back to the Man in the Machine. She's a beaut. Today we're going to be talking a lot more about the V12 Vantage and some of the costs that were unexpected in the acquisition.
It's a combination of trying to use a motor car and yourself as one complete unit. It's really a biblical connection between the two, the man and the machine.
And we're back. This is part 2 of the series that I'm creating for you guys on YouTube. I'm getting excited about it. I'm actually getting some feedback from folks, and this is the second episode of what I think will be good for you guys to get some insight on. I'm going to be talking about the Aston Martin V12 Vantage. That car for me was my first supercar purchase. I purchased it in 2015 and was excited about it. A little backstory on why I decided to choose the V12 Vantage as my first supercar. Back in 2011, I went out to Car Week and I was able to visit the compound where Aston Martin set up their shop with their fleet of cars and nice events, you know, showcasing a lot of high-end stuff. But they gave us the opportunity to drive the cars. The DBS and the V12 Vantage were two cars that I was able to drive, and I fell in love. Both of them were stick shift, so in my mind I had to get a stick shift if I were to buy an Aston Martin V12 Vantage. Today's video, we're going to be talking about when I purchased this car in 2015, what it actually looked like as far as costs. More so unexpected costs. You know, you get a car, you kind of think high quality car, you think, you know, maybe this will be somewhat reliable, engineering's top notch, things like that. You won't see as many problems or headaches. I guess with this car, I beg to differ a little bit, but you just don't know what you're getting yourself into. I bought it from a shop in Scottsdale, Arizona. I actually did not fly out there, but they did allow me to have an inspector go out there and inspect the car and give me feedback as to what was going on with the car. I did that, and things seemed to be intact. No problems foreseen by the inspector or inspection, so I bought the car with 5,000 miles on it, and so be it. I get the car and I look it over and everything does look intact. About a week later, maybe 2 weeks, I can't recall exactly the timing, but one of the first big problems with this car, costly problems, was the headlight. The headlight LED lamps went out on me. Now, the dealer that I bought it from did allow me to get a 1-year warranty. That 1-year warranty would have costed me around 3,000 bucks. I'm like, yeah, I think I probably won't be driving the car that much to have the need to buy that. The car itself had only 5,000 miles. Low mileage car. I think I'm gonna be pretty good for a year at least. And everything after that, you know, I'll take on with whatever, you know, cost that comes associated to it. Get to the dealer, show them the problem. Whenever I turn on the headlights, the LED lighting on this particular headlight, which I still have, tried to sell on eBay, but never got any bids on it. So if you know anybody that's interested in headlights that doesn't have LEDs that are working and maybe have a quick fix for it that the dealer could not, I got one for you. But took it to the dealer. They told me there's no way to repair or fix whatever electrical shortage or outage that was happening for the connection of the LED lights. The only way to fix this problem is to buy a new headlight. And I'm like, damn, I have to buy a new headlight right out of the gate. I'm like, all right, fine. If Aston's not willing to do anything about it and this is the only solution, I'm just gonna give in and buy a new headlight, because for me, having a car on the road that is pretty high end, I mean, I want to fix it. I don't want to be a car out there that's going to have this dead headlight. So I went ahead and said, tally up the cost, tell me what it's going to take to get this fixed. They came back to me, and I think the headlight was roughly around $2,000, $2,500. Installation probably pushing up to about $3,000. So there's that 1 year warranty right there. $3,000. We'll call it approximately $3,000. I have all of the service records for this, for the exact cost, but in this video I'm just going to give you just kind of ballpark of what it took to address the issue. I'm actually filming in my garage. In case you're wondering what the backdrop is, this is kind of, I don't know, the styling that I decided to put in my garage. Flags. This is me at Bondurant getting my competition racing license at their high performance school, which highly recommend. I enjoyed it very much. My instructor, and more so all the instructors, were very helpful in guiding me to actually knowing how to drive a car. But back to the story at hand. So moving on to the next big issue that happened to me. I had the car for about a year. It wasn't a big issue, but next unexpected cost, but this is first for me. Had the car about a year, took it to COTA, tracked the car, and I enjoyed tracking the car. The handling of this car and the power and the balance, it was a lot of fun on that track. I had a blast, and again, driving stick shift and controlling the revs through each corners, that was fun to figure out. And mind you, just recapping on getting that competition license, I didn't have those skills before that track day, so I definitely learned a lot of what I was doing wrong whenever I was taking this Aston Martin on the track. I'm gonna put my hat on. Man the Machine hat, by the way. In case you haven't seen the Instagram page, I've been posting some giveaways for these hats. I'm a big fan of them. I like the logo that I've created with a friend of mine on the design of this. But you can see the branding there, the Man the Machine. Short story, simple concept. I'm a big fan of Steve McQueen. This is one of the conversations he had in one of his biographies, or just kind of documentaries of the guy. But it's basically all of us just trying to be one with our machines at the end of the day. And I want to stick with it because I'm a big car guy, and why not, right? Have fun with it. But I've been getting a lot of feedback on these hats. This one seems to be a winner. People are liking the contrast of the blue and the silver here. It was supposed to be a little bit darker, carbon color. Working on that with the guys who make these hats for me. But I'm looking forward to making more, some dad hats, more inclusive of everybody that is interested in these hats, because the flat bills, although I like them, most people don't. They'd rather have the curved bill. So either way, I'm gonna put this on and style it for the rest of the video, so hopefully I look a little bit better and my hair doesn't look such a mess. It's kind of hot in this garage. After that, I'd say probably a year went by, driving the car, daily driving, not daily driving, but more so just routine driving, getting with friends, typical car events, cars and coffee, car gatherings, just meetups that we get together and drive the cars. And carried that on for about a year, and the next thing I come into as far as taking this car to an event to get it checked out was Lamborghini Festival. I wanted to do Lamborghini Festival even though I didn't have a Lamborghini at that point in time. I figured there's a big event in Houston, supercars are invited, so why not? Plus it was a track day, so track day number 2 for the car. Did that Lamborghini Festival event and had to get the car track inspected. Whenever I did that, found out that the tires had dry rot, or tire rot, one of the two. Either way, the tires were rotting, and I really had never experienced that before in my entire life. So it's something new to me, and I guess I got to learn a little bit more about what causes that storage of the car, having water and moisture reach the tires more often to keep them kind of, I guess, more flexible and elasticity, maybe something like that. Either way, they came back and said I had to replace the tires. The tires, I put maybe 1,000 miles on them, maybe 1,500 from the 5,000 that were already on them. So I'm like, gosh, I had to replace tires at like maybe 7,000 miles. Didn't expect it. And plus I was like, all right, one more track day, I'm probably gonna have to get rid of these any which way. But so be it. Learning my lesson whenever it comes to tracking your car and driving your car and taking care of your tires. So tires cost about $2,000 with installation, so it brings me up to a total unexpected cost of $5,000. The next cost that came along with this car that just never knew could happen. The story goes, I was driving this car many times and I'd hear a thump. Like every time I hit a bump, I hear this big old thump. It's louder than that. It's more like a bump. But I didn't know where it was coming from. It sounded like it was coming from the front of the engine, or at least kind of somewhere in that territory. Every time I hit, so I'm like, crap, what the heck's going on? One day driving, and I never really drive the car in rain, but I was driving and there was this puddle that this car splashed on the car, which was pissed because the car was just washing me on that goes. But the water hit the windshield and water came into the cabin. And I was like, what the heck? How did water get into the cabin, get into where I'm driving? And there's probably a good seal on this windshield. Come to find out, I get to my house and I start playing around with the windshield. The windshield is actually the thing that was making the noise as I was driving over bumps. It would come up, it would pop out and come back in and slam back into its placement. Apparently some of the seal was cracked all around the driver's side and the top. So it was popping up and down. It wasn't fully unsealed, I guess you could call it, but there was enough to where it was popping up and down. So I'm like, crap, what the F? Trying to be conservative here with the curse words, but took it to Aston again. Asked them, okay, this has to be an easy fix. I'm assuming you could potentially reseal this and just get it good to go. And they said, okay, we'll look into it. Get back to me and say, hey guy, we gotta replace the whole thing. We can't just reseal that one segment. And I'm just like mind blown. I'm like, is this really the case? Do I really need a brand new windshield for one that's already in pristine condition? I don't know. Actually, if any of you service guys or any of you technicians out there, automotive guys who do repair on this type of stuff, if you can comment below and tell me whether or not I should have listened to these guys or I should have been able to make a fix to this by just resealing it. Let me know. They came back and said that they'd have to pull the windshield off, and for that to happen, the tool that they take off, the windshield is fragile enough that it's going to crack. It's not going to remain intact, so they can't just take it off and reseal it, or even for that matter, just try to reseal in the area that needed it. So I said, you know what, all right, how about I call my insurance and see if I can save some money on this? Sure enough, yeah, I call my insurance and tell them what happened. They look it over. Not even like a day later, they tell me, nope, that's not covered. We only covered hazard crack. The longevity of the seal that was created for it is not the responsibility of insurance. That is a responsibility of the manufacturer and the engineering to make sure that that remained intact. So that's more of a warranty issue than it is a insurance issue. So they said no. Go back to Aston. I say, okay, they're not going to do it. How much does it cost to get to replace? They tell me the cost. I can't remember exactly. Another one of those ones that I can't remember exactly. I actually couldn't find the papers for that particular service, but I do recall it to be like totaling around $3 grand. So another $3 grand to replace a perfectly good windshield that I did not want to do, and it was very unexpected. So what we have 3 things that I covered with you as far as unexpected cost. 1, the headlight recap. These went out. That was about $3 grand. 2, the tire dry rot, whatever. You guys maybe correct me in the comments below. Whatever it was, basically cracks in the tires. 2 grand. 3 grand for windshield replacement. So we're at 8 grand right now. But well, it's not the final cost, but it's one of the bigger costs that will close out this video. But there is a known issue with the Vantages, I guess the early model Vantages, V8s and V12s that I uncovered in the forums. It was really annoying. Every time I'd wash my car, and everything would be great. The hot summer temperatures would come through and the humidity would hit. For some reason, the following morning, whenever I take the car to a car meet, moisture would build up in these taillights. And I'm just like, you gotta be kidding me. Why is there moisture building up in these taillights? Tried to dig into it more, tried to dig into other people's stories. They all suggested that that's just an issue with these taillights, and they've had people try to repair them, Aston try to repair them under warranty, but still seem to be a problem. Hopefully there's some people out there that hadn't had that problem and just worked fine. Comment below if you had not had that problem, or if you've had that problem and had some different story to share, or some experience you had with Aston that helped you get through it. But talked to the dealer and they didn't have any good resolve for it, aside from replacing the taillights without the guarantee that that wouldn't happen again. So I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. Let me just keep on living with it for a little bit longer. Finally, I decided, you know what, I was looking at the 2015 models, and I saw their taillights were covered with a black trim instead of silver trim. So in the 2015, 14, 15, something like that, V12 Vantages, the trim of the taillight is black instead of silver. So I was like, I have a black car. I'd actually like a pair of the later versions, and maybe there's some resolve to this issue that Aston probably has been made aware of a number of times whenever it comes to moisture in their taillights in the earlier models. So I went out and tried to figure out the cost for what those taillights would look like on my car. They were compatible, but the cost was just significant, I think. So, taillights, didn't want the condensation anymore. I said, you know what, the new 2015, 15 models with a black trim might look a little bit better on my black, carbon black. Aston Martin, by the way, carbon black, 1 of 40 for 3 years, so pretty solid choice. I love the color, kind of sparkly carbon with the black. Metallic, not sparkly, more manly if you say metallic. But yeah, went out on the market, went out to Aston, asked them how much it would cost, and they told me, or at least I found, it would cost me $5 grand. Did I want to pay that? Nope. Again, I was gonna decide to hold off, and maybe if I won some good money or had an extra $5 grand to blow, I'd do it, but decided to hold off. But I still wanted them, so I went out trying to find some used ones. I talked to some auto shops that might have some used ones for sale that I'd feel comfortable buying, make sure they work. A lot of the ones that I found were all scratched up. I guess they were from wrecked Astons. Didn't want that, even though I know I probably could have had somebody buff out those scratches. I just didn't want to deal with that. Randomly, I was looking on eBay and put an alert on Aston Martin taillights, and some black ones came on the market. Apparently, somebody bought a set of the black, but didn't want to go forward with them, or they had a change in plans in life and had to get rid of the Aston or something. Either way, they were selling them for a fire sale, and I was able to get them for around $2,100, so almost like half the price. $5 grand, that number kind of sits with me from the quote, installation and all that stuff. Either way, I definitely got them at a discounted rate, and they were brand spanking new. So I said, let's go, $2,100, probably the best deal I'll find for a brand new set. Bought them. I was going to take them to Aston to install them for me, but I was like, you know what, I'm pretty car savvy. I can figure out some stuff, especially stuff like that are just plug and play. So I avoided the cost of having them install it because their alloy weight rates are really high. Did it myself, really easy to install. Even for that matter, I'm pretty sure there's a YouTube video out there, but if there's any YouTube videos that you guys want to see with me and the Aston Martin, just give me some feedback. Send me some comments, subscribe to this channel, you know, all the good stuff. Put those notifications on. I'll be having some more and more follow-ups on the Aston. It seems like you guys are interested in hearing about other costs that I've taken on with the Aston, more so with the just aftermarket stuff, the new stuff, the enhanced stuff that makes this car even better than it was whenever it came off the line. Looking forward to doing those videos. The final unexpected cost. I mean, I'm just thinking this car is still fairly new. I mean, mind you, it's a 2011, and it's now approaching 10 years old. The struts on the trunk went out on me during the first year or two that I owned the car, so it was just annoying to have the struts keep coming down. But I don't think those cost that much. I think the struts cost like $200-300 a piece in the installation, so I'm looking around by maybe about $600 or something like that. That was everything that I just did not want to have be part of the ownership of this car. So be it. Tell me if you've had similar stories. Tell me if you have some other things that you know I should be cautious about with the Aston, that I should be prepared for. Right now she's still holding up, and I've done a few things to her to make her a little bit better. But like I said, I'll come back and give you guys a little bit more of what that insight looks like. And if you have some other ideas with the car that you want me to show you on this channel, I mean, I'm all for it. At this point, I mean, I'm going to these car meets, talking to you guys about the car, sharing it with you as best I can, giving you perspective whenever I drive the car with some of the videos that I put together, and hopefully you enjoy them. Most of them have been on Instagram, again, at the Man in the Machine. How do they do it? They say, link down below. I don't know if I'm gonna get used to this, but I'll have fun with it. That pretty much wraps up these unexpected costs. So tallying it up, we had, just one more time, recap: the headlight, $3 grand, tires, $2 grand, $5 grand total. The windshield, another $3 grand, $8 grand total, and then $2 grand for the tail lights, so $10 grand. And then plus the $600 or so probably around 11 grand, 10 to 11 grand, all unexpected costs for the ownership from 2015 until now. Hopefully that's fun for you guys to hear about. Not fun, but it's not fun for me. but figure why not disclose some of the stuff for you. We'll just go ahead and just stop here and get ready for the next video. Until then, have a little fun watching let's see what this was. This is a nice rally with a good group of friends that we always kind of coordinate with. And check it out.
Racing, it's life. Anything that happened before or after